There's no man in the world, I think, whose name is more synonymous with sport today. He says he's the greatest.
I am the greatest.
I'm the greatest.
J'ai travaillé des années sans répit, jour et nuit, pour réussir, oui, pour gravir, oh oui, le sommet. En oubliant souvent dans ma course contre le temps, mes amis, mes amours, mes emmerdes. Accord perdu, j'ai couru, assoiffé, obstiné, vers l'horizon, l'illusion, vers l'abstrait, en sacrifiant ses darons, je m'en accuse à présent, mes amis, mes amours, mes emmerdes.
Are we here? In there? Yeah. Yes. That's what I saw.
Might be all right.
Hi, LeBron.
How you doing?
Welcome to Bagnolet in Paris, close to Paris. I'd like to thank you for a special thing because I grew up in the city just close to here, Noisy-le-Sec, which is the same kind of neighborhood.
Right.
And 1 year ago, we were struggling to open in the old library in my city, in my hood, the same kind of project than you. And when I saw you doing this, this gave us power and force.
Thank you.
So thank you very much
no problem.
for what you do, because this is important to inspire all the youth of the world, and you gave us the force to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have a gift for you, a special gift.
Okay.
I know you're friend with Jay-Z, you're friend with Eminem. I know that you know the lyrics on your by the heart.
Revival didn't go viral. Denied it, Royce told me that I should take the high road. Fuck that, I'm gonna hit back till I run out of gunpowder and split the scene.
But no disrespect, I'm telling you, if Jay or Eminem is watching the video, no disrespect, we have in France the best lyricist ever.
Okay.
You might know him, he's called Charles Aznavour.
Okay.
I heard that you were listening to his songs.
Oh yeah.
Je sais qu'un jour viendra, tu atteindras cet âge où l'on force les cages, ayant trouvé sa voie.
He has a message for you.
James, c'est Charles Aznavour. J'ai appris que tu aimais bien mes chansons et moi, d'un autre côté, le sport que tu pratiques est un des sports que je préfère, parce que je ne suis pas très sportif à part ça. Alors, je pense que tout se passe très bien pour toi. Je pense qu'on se rencontrera un de ces jours. À bientôt, James, et bon courage.
Oh, that's incredible. That's sweet. That's sweet.
You know, it's just like you, he never talks.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us. How did you discover Charles Aznavour?
I was watching a movie one day, just kind of on the fly, and the song came on. It was in the background playing, and it was beautiful. It kind of just caught my ear, so I used the app to see who it was, and it came up with him. So I downloaded all his music, and I've been playing it ever since.
You know, the crazy thing is that when you posted this song about the youth, it could be your story.
Yeah.
It's the story of a guy who is struggling and who is seeing his young days living and watching the future to know what he could leave to his child. And I was shocked because I was thinking that you knew the lyrics.
No, I understood the tone and the magnitude that he was singing in. I did not understand the language, but I understood the music, and the music was so captivating, and it actually makes sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And I know that you're an athlete and that you're more than an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, what makes you more than an athlete is your personal story, your personal background. I would like to talk to a category of people that nobody is talking about, is the single moms.
Yeah.
Because they're, to me, the strongest people in all over the world,
Yeah,
in all the hoods. All the people saw you like the tall guy, the strong guy. But can you tell me how much your mother is stronger?
Yeah, I have not always been the strong guy or the tall guy, but you know, but I get my strength from my mother. You know, my mother is the you know, the strongest woman in the world, and along with other single parents, single mothers. It's just, you know, their loyalty, their strength, their dignity, their fight. Every single day being a only parent is something that I would never be able to imagine, you know, having to do it myself. So I commend all of them all across the world. They're beautiful.
You know the streets, the real streets.
Yeah.
And there is a value that we were talking in this show with Dr. Dre.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
The street knowledge,
Yeah.
which is very important to us. That's what we're trying to bring in
Right.
all our contents.
The knowledge of ourselves, the knowledge of our culture, the knowledge of our history.
Can you give us your definition of the street knowledge?
I think for me, the definition of street knowledge is just growing up in between the lines. It's just a walk of life. It's the air that you breathe. It's the way people talk. It's the way people move. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps your head on the swivel at all time. But it gives you that toughness. You know, when you grow up in the streets. Because everybody is fighting for a chance. Everybody is fighting, and a lot of us don't believe that they will even be able to see the next day, so it's always a fight on who can win today.
At 12 years old, someone stole my bicycle and learned how to fight so I can beat the fella up. So I started boxing.
I think I've been able to take that into my you know, my professional life, and as I've grown up as a grown up as well in my adult life, to just, you know, how can I make the most out of today, you know, and not, you know, focus on tomorrow because it's not promised.
Having this other way of thinking and other way to see the world and the vices of the people who can be in this game, is it a bonus to you? Is it a new way to see the reality?
Well, I mean, it's, you know, it is a new way. I think it's the new wave right now up here for all of us to be able to see, you know, what's going on throughout on a day-to-day basis. But I think for me personally, for all of us, you got to figure out a way that you can impact lives and figure out a way you can inspire people, figure out what your meaning is on this planet. What is your meaning? And when you're able to do that, you're able to tap into some things that you may not even thought you was possible of yourself. So, you know, I'm at a point now where I know what I'm here for, and I'm just trying to use, you know, my knowledge and use my position of power to be able to influence.
We are in an era where everybody can be a star just with a cell phone and shooting on the social medias. You use your social medias to promote anonymous people and initiatives and doing something with a meaning.
My name is Jen Winston. You don't have to be a member of a marginalized group in order to fight for that group.
I want to encourage bullying victims to find their voice and speak up. I want you to realize that you are amazing, just the way you are. You're stronger than you know.
Where do you find those people?
Well, it was a great idea that you know, myself and Nike kind of collaborated on you know, throughout the playoffs. I kind of always shut down social media, you know, not allow myself to kind of, you know, be as engaged on the playoffs, on the basketball as much as possible. But this time around, I decided to use my platform to help others that had, you know, great ideas and were doing great things in their communities and were showing a positive impact on not only their lives, but the people that, you know, look up to them as well, even kids. I mean, we had eight-year-old kids, we had 12-year-olds, we had, you know, people in their 20s, 30s, just doing great things of being, you know, empowering themselves. Not only, like I said, running their own companies and helping themselves out, but, you know, people around them kind of, you know, feeling that inspiring motion, that inspiring factor too. So it was an honor for me to be able to kind of open my platform up for so many different likes and faces and people that.
You said something very interesting, because a lot of people don't have the humility to say that they've been helped to be what they are. And now that you're helping people, can you just tell to the people watching us how sometime when you can be deep in the dark and when you feel lonely, just somebody's smiling you or telling you it's gonna be fine can be a help?
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't care what anybody say, at the end of the day, you can't get to where you want to get to in life without help. without a helping hand, either from your parents or from your mentors or your teachers or your Little League coaches. And I was fortunate enough to have a lot of help along my way. Obviously it started with my mom and my mom's brothers, my two uncles. It started also in my community, the city of Akron. And then my Little League coaches.
I think you're going to see one of the greatest players ever to play in the state of Ohio. So you believe NBA potential without a doubt? No question.
They did a great job of just giving me a helping hand when there was times where, like I said, it was just dark times, and you don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know if there's a future for you. To be able to have a helping hand throughout the process has been very key in my success.
There is a switch that you're doing. It's to a lot of famous people or athletes are doing charity. You're not doing charity, you're doing action. How did you decide that switch with the I Promise school?
For me, I wanted to continue to see ways that I can continue to improve my community and things that can last longer than me myself. To be able to have something that was longevity, that can have a long-time effect on my community, on the kids and also the parents.
For young kids, ages 7, 8, 9, 10, the most important thing that we can give them is structure and a sense of they just want someone to feel like we care.
With myself and my foundation, my right-hand lady, Michelle Campbell at my foundation, we was able to come together and through great help from the Akron Public School System, through some colleges as well, Akron U, Kent State, we was able to come up with an unbelievable idea to be able to bring the I Promise School, to my hometown, to be able to put kids in school and give them criteria that they can meet and give them a place where they say is home, a place where every day that they leave there, they know someone cares about their future, and that was more important than anything.
I want him to go to school and be a doctor, engineer, maybe a lawyer, something, a judge, just where he can use his brains. And while he's at youth, give him a tutor, all the teachers he needs, put up all the money for all the educations, where they can rely.
When I'm watching your T-shirt, I'm thinking to a legend, Muhammad Ali, which is the perfect guy who was more than an athlete. When you look at Muhammad Ali, who passed 2 years ago, till his last breath, even when he couldn't speak, he was trying to spread positivity and helping the people. Yeah. How do you explain that as an athlete, every time you speak, it has a huge echo?
I just try to be in a position myself personally where when I speak with pure, with honesty, and with love as well. I think there's so much negativity going on in our world. I try to be one that can, bring a brighter spot to it. I believe there's more love in this world than hate, even though there's a lot of hate in this world, but I believe there's more love, and the love will always overcome.
And it's personality that attracts. I mean, people of all religions, like in America, I stand up for black people, and regardless to what it costs me, I speak out for what I believe. Like you got people in Ireland fighting for what they believe. I represent this also.
For my voice to be able to ring bells and to be able to have a command, it means a lot, and it's a lot of responsibility, but I take it with a lot of responsibility as well.
How do you explain that we are in a time, in an era where speaking is a risk?
Well, I think, it's only a risk if you don't believe in yourself, or it's only a risk if you're not speaking from a point of knowledge. For me personally, whatever I speak upon, I'm knowledgeable about it, and I'm also pure, and it means something for me. So, but if it's not who you are, then you shouldn't try to force it. There's others that can't speak for you, if that's the case may be, but I can speak for myself, and I get pretty knowledgeable about the situation, whatever it is, and then I'm more. It's in me. I can feel it, so it comes out. It's just very organic.
Talking about I Promise, did you promise to yourself to always staying true to what you're thinking, even if it's risky?
Well, you got to stay true to yourself. And there's times where even what you say or may do may not, everyone may not agree with it, but at the end of the day, if you've put all your hard work and effort into it, or you've put all your mind and your time into it, then if you continue to stay on that path, I think, no matter what happens, you will have results. And, that's where I come from.
Like when a man goes to war, he don't consider losing nothing. He's fighting for his country, what he believes. And we don't have no regrets if it's something we do from our heart and we want to do. Like, I didn't have to do it. Something I wanted to do, so I don't regret it, and I'm really thankful that I did. Got strong because of it, and many people believe in fighting for the freedom, and this is just part of what I believed. So it's nothing that I regret, not at all. If I regret it, then it wasn't sincere.
I think that when you come from where you come from, when you live what you live, when you struggle like you struggle, the only way to be in a mental condition, health good, is to help other people. And do you feel that recognized when you come here in Paris, in the suburbs? Do you feel that in the eye of the people? Do you feel that the message has been spread?
Absolutely. I mean, it has to be spread. I think it all starts in grassroots, and for me to be here in Paris and being in the outskirts, in the suburbs, which is the hood, it has a high, where I come from. I understand what these kids are going through. I understand what these kids think. I understand the level of them feeling like people, people care about us. So for me to be here and spread my knowledge and my wealth and whatever the case may be, my health, I'm all happy for it.
I'd like to give you another gift. It's a book from one of the greatest French writers. It's called Romain Gary.
Okay.
And the book is White Dog. I have a sentence I'd love to read to you. The black-white situation in America has its roots on the core of almost all human predicaments. Deep down within something, it is high time to recognize as the greatest spiritual force of all time, stupidity. One of the most baffling paradoxes of history is that all our intelligence and even our genius have never succeeded in solving a problem when pitched against stupidity, where the very nature of the problem is precisely what intelligence should find particularly easy to handle. Stupidity has a tremendous advantage over genius and intellect. It's above logic, above argument. It has no need for evidence, facts.
That's powerful.
That's a gift for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I would love. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this. That's powerful. I think if you're not intelligent about what's going on, then like you said, stupidity can always take over. And stupidity have done a lot of things in our world, just because people wasn't intelligent enough to either talk it through or figure out a way where things can be better for all kinds. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Look forward to reading it.
With your school, I promise, do you think that knowledge is the answer and the key to fight our divided society?
It's not just knowledge. I think knowledge and love and care. I think with the youth, I believe with the youth, the most important thing is to let them know that you care about their state as it stands today and about how they're going to be successful in the future. And we all have dreams when we're kids. We all have dreams, and then and it's up to us as the adults to try to help those dreams become reality. And if a kid know that you believe in them, then they're going to try even harder.
Did this make you a very big man in your own hometown?
No, made me popular for a few days, but I wanted to do something good with it.
What is the hardest thing that you ever done in your life? Is it to be the greatest champion or to be a good father?
The hardest thing?
Say the truth.
Yeah, tell the truth. I think it will be right there. I mean, winning a championship is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But also being a father is hard too. Because I didn't have a lot of example on my own growing up. So, you kind of learn on the fly. So both are very challenging.
You were born in '84.
Yeah.
How does it feel right now to walk and to see kids in the street with your name on their shoes?
Oh,
LeBron rose up, looked at him again, said, "Merry Christmas, Blitz," and shattered the rim.
To play a video game with you.
Right. I mean, it's humbling. It's humbling, and it's just an honor, man, for me to walk up and down the streets or drive up and down the streets or go places not only in America, not only in my hometown, but all over the world, and seeing people wear my shoes or seeing videos of them playing the video game with me on there. It's like, I'm a kid from Akron, Ohio, and I say that all the time, and to be in this position right now is just very humbling.
Let's talk about culture. In your Instagram, you've put a guy, an anonymous guy, Eminem.
Yeah.
You already knew the lyrics of the new album. How did you learn that?
Listen, I haven't stopped listening to it since it came out. So, you know, I love hip hop. Obviously, Eminem is one of the greats. But I haven't stopped listening to the album since it came out, and the words just started to click in my head.
What is the punchline that you memorized instantly?
Wow. It's, I'm the greatest. Yeah, instantly.
Like Ali.
Yeah, like Ali, exactly.
And do you remember a punchline of Ali?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think one of my favorite quotes of Ali is, you know, when you're working, you suffer now. And then at the end of the day, you will live your life as a champion. You know, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. So, you know, and every time I think about working out, you know, as hard as it is, Ali always said, training is hard, it's tough, but suffer now and you'll live the rest of your life as a champion. So, you know, that always resonates for me.
Well, I'm lucky that I have these before me to take an example.
When is the last time that you really suffered?
The last time that I really suffered?
You can be fragile, it's okay.
I'm not in a suffer mode at this point in my life. You know, I did a lot of that when I was a kid, you know, but I'm strictly positive these days and always trying to look at the good in everything.
The show is called Click. What's your definition of a click?
Well, I got a lot of definitions of a clique. You know, one of them is like my boys, my people, my friends that I grew up with. We had a clique, and we was always tight. Nobody could ever like get in between us. You know, we just clicked. You know, as soon as we saw each other, boom, we knew exactly what was going on. And then, you know, another click is just like the press of a button. We just click and we right on. We right back to the, you know, regular scheduled program. So a couple different meetings.
And can we talk about Jay-Z?
Yeah.
What is your relation? Because I heard that you were doing diner to spread ideas and speak.
We actually wanted to get like a bunch of powerful people together, and we had a plan that we'll get everybody in the room, and then at some point we'll make it real.
And then use all that power and influence for good.
He's been you know, a big brother to me, and you know, a helping hand to me for a long time now, and you know, it's been mutual respect since then. You know, I've loved what he's been able to do. Obviously, not only with his rap career, but him and his fatherhood, and you know, marrying his beautiful wife and having beautiful kids, and you know, and he's admired, you know, what I've done on my side. So there's a huge mutual respect, you know, from myself to Jay.
What Jay-Z move inspired you?
I mean, the biggest one is from his upbringing. You know, he grew up in Marcy Projects in the hood in Brooklyn. You know, in a time where people just didn't give us, you know, didn't give people like, you know, who grew up in the hood an opportunity. And for him to, you know, make it out of that situation to where he is today, that's inspiring in his own. And I think all of us who grow up in the inner city can use Jay's whole story as a stepping tool to say, okay, if Jay can go from here to there, we can do the same.
Trust me, the kids are taking the same with you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Pour être fier, je suis fier entre nous, je l'avoue. J'ai fait ma vie, mais il y a